Hey everyone, this is Adam Coates. I currently can't be with you guys on 2 days a week. I have 3 kids, and my wife travels to Georgetown, South Carolina, so I am booked up with kids this evening and didn't think they could make it through the conversation with you all. Um, but again, my name is Adam. I wanted to just talk about what faith has meant to me. Currently I'm a PhD student and a graduate instructor of record in the Department of Forestry and Environmental Conservation. And so when I was at the age of 8, my parents actually raised me in a small church in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and I felt the urge and prompting from God to be a missionary at the age of 8. And I always took that to mean that I should tell everyone about my faith and actually live my life in such a way that it would be reflective of my relationship with Christ. And so I've always tried to do that. And so when it came time to look for colleges, I felt like Clemson was the place for me, really from the standpoint of I wanted to have a practical skill to be able to take to other countries to actually share with people about practical ways to manage their natural resources, but then also to tell them about my relationship with Christ and what He's done in my life. And so that was my goal. In 2000, when I got to Clemson, I was actually offered an opportunity to be a youth pastor part-time at a church in 6 Mile, South Carolina, which is about 15, 20 minutes from Clemson. And so I did that all the way through my master's degree, which I also worked on at Clemson. In that process, I also was introduced to prescribed fire and wildfire research with Dr. Tom Waldrop from the U.S. Forest Service, who is now retired, but his office was in Clemson. And so I found 2 passions, my love for Jesus and then also my love for prescribed fire, and really the mandate I think we have as good stewards of our resources to look at ways we can reduce fuels, promote public health, promote healthy forests, actually through the use of prescribed fire. And so I've kind of taken that as my role, and the research and the work that I do really goes hand in hand with my belief that we need to steward our natural resources while also being good stewards of our relationship with Christ. And so I did take a break in between my master's and my PhD work. I actually spent 10 years being trained to be a pastor in the Vineyard Movement. And we actually started a church in Asheville, North Carolina, in West Asheville, where we spread our relationship and our belief in Christ with folks at a local pub. And we actually had church in a bar and did all of that. I did that prior to actually coming back to get my PhD. So faith has played a major role in my life, not only occupationally, but then my calling, I feel like now, to be working full-time in natural resources. And so I think the conversation is great. I think it's one of the highlights of my life is to actually talk about my faith, but then also to hear about other people's faith and what they believe, whether their faith is based in Christ or on some other belief. I believe it's a dialogue and a conversation that really that should be had. It should be discussed, and it should be incorporated in our activities as graduate students, as professionals. It's an important part of what we do. So I appreciate the opportunity. I offered to make this video. I don't know if it'll be helpful or not. It's about as summarized as I could make it for you all. But if you have any questions, I'm the rare oddity. I'm actually an ordained minister, and I'm also now have my PhD in forestry. So my wife all the time says, you really like people, but you know a lot about trees. How do those two go hand in hand? And in my brain, they really go well together. I'm not so sure it makes sense to other people, but it's what God has led me to do and the opportunities I've had in my life. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I hope the video made sense. If you ever have any questions about anything, you can definitely get in touch with me. I'd be glad to talk to you about anything related to my faith and my journey and what that's looked like. So thank you again for the opportunity, and we'll talk to you later.